Welcome to Fantasy Audiobook, Martial Arts Prodigy. Sorry, I'm Kryptonian. Chapter 41. I can't see clearly. But. Call out. Yi Ren turned into an afterimage and rushed into the safety escape with superhuman speed. A distance of several thousand meters is for Yi Ren. But it only takes 10 seconds. However, when Yi Ren arrived at the place where the screams came from, he could only see a corpse lying on the ground. It was a middle-aged man. With a painful expression on his face, he died with regret. His chest was opened, and it seems that it was directly and abruptly broken out by someone. The heart and spleen were missing. Minced meat and blood dripped all over the floor. Yi Ren swallowed, leaned against the wall and retched. Corpses are not scary. Disgusting as this disgusting corpse. Yi Ren suppressed the discomfort and called the assistant of the Forest Bureau. Soon the people from the Special Affairs Bureau arrived. They skillfully cordoned off the scene and removed the body for autopsy to find clues. The assistant of the Forest Bureau looked at Yi Ren in surprise. So, how did you find out he was killed? I heard screams, so I ran over to have a look. Assistant Lin Bureau had a gloomy face and didn't say much. Just tell Yi Ren not to go out at night. I see that patrols have appeared in the evening recently. Is City Y in danger? Facing Yi Ren's question, the assistant hesitated for a while, and finally said that Yi Ren didn't need to worry about it. We'll take care of everything. Yet Yi Ren begs to differ. He scanned the scene and found that it was not far from the Obsidian Dragon Martial Arts Hall. And the dead, he is actually the owner of the Obsidian Dragon Martial Art Museum. To be precise, it was the former owner. The Obsidian Dragon Martial Arts Hall was closed down by the Special Administration Bureau a few days ago, and the owner of the hall was deprived of all property due to some crimes. I remember him. Was it yesterday or the day before yesterday? This guy even threw himself in front of him, madly saying that he made him lose everything. Yi Ren saw something through the crack in the corner. It was half a chipped nail. Thanks to clairvoyance and keen eyes, he found this imperceptible clue. Where did you find this? Assistant Forest Bureau was stunned. He took this group of experienced Special Affairs Bureau operatives around the scene several times but found no clues. But Yi Ren, a young man with no criminal investigation experience. With this nail, the Special Affairs Bureau was able to trace the source, and finally found out a suspect. According to the information, the owner of the nail is Wang Meimei, a warrior of the third stage Yaoguang stepping into the sky, and a native of H province. She disappeared 4 years ago because she joined a cult, and her parents issued a death certificate for her. Assistant Lin's expression became more serious. Although the laws of the Dragon Kingdom are strict, there are still many warriors who secretly collude with each other and do some illegal things. These cults, once discovered, must be completely wiped out. Is her. When Yi Ren saw Wang Meimei's photo, he frowned slightly. Hell, isn't this the woman I met outside the mobile phone shop in the morning? Have you seen her? Well, this morning, Assistant Forest Bureau told Yi Ren to go home and leave it alone, they will take care of everything. But I want to help. This is not a game, Brother Yi. This is a very dangerous task. If you are not careful, you will die. Assistant Forest Bureau patted Yi Ren on the shoulder meaningfully. Young people, just don't understand the seriousness of the matter. Maybe in your eyes, this is tense and exciting. As long as you catch Wang Meimei, you are a hero. But no. Every one of us here is on a mission, and he is close to death, living a life where there is no tomorrow. You are still young and have great talent. Dragon Kingdom needs you to grow up, little brother Yi. After speaking, he patted Yi Ren on the shoulder. Yi Ren was forced to leave the Special Bureau, and these people didn't give him a chance to explain. Tisk. Yi Ren clicked his tongue. Then he ran around Sa Yazi, the center of City Y. Even in the case of deliberately suppressing the speed, Yi Ren can also do not alarm anyone, but maintain a super high speed. Supervision paired with super hearing. In less than half an hour, the corner of Yi Ren's mouth twitched. Hey, are you still doing nail art? Jingle bell. Yi Ren pushed open the door of the nail salon. The young ladies inside all showed surprised eyes. After all, basically, no men come into the nail salon. Miss Wang, we meet again. Wang Meimei subconsciously picked up her cell phone. Yi Ren sat down next to Wang Meimei and stretched out her hand, but Wang Meimei didn't react yet. The phone has fallen into Yi Ren's palm. What are you doing? Wang Meimei's pupils shrank. She stretched out her hand to grab it. The speed was so fast that there was only an afterimage left on her arm. However, there was a clack. The phone shattered into a pool of parts in Yi Ren's hands. Oh, sorry, I broke it for you. The reason why Yi Ren did this. It was he who felt that this phone was very important to Wang Meimei. She always picks up the phone subconsciously. Then just destroy it first. This guest, please leave immediately, otherwise we will call the police. The clerk was about to call 110 with an ugly face. But the voice did not fall. A piece of manicure pierced through her palm in an instant. Ah! She let out a belated scream, and the phone fell to the ground. Wang Meimei's face darkened. She couldn't let the police come over, that would expose herself. Yi Ren was a little nervous at first, but the sense of strength in his body gave him confidence. He said in a deep voice, "Everyone leave immediately." The shop assistants, who had been petrified, hurried out. Wang Meimei wanted to take one as a hostage, but Yi Ren punched her directly in the head. Quote? Quote. That moment, Wang Meimei instantly gave up the act of taking hostages. An elegant turn of the head dodged the straight punch. Boom! A cone-shaped gray-white airburst cloud is produced in the air. Her long hair danced wildly. Ha! Missed. Yi Ren raised his eyebrows. At this time, Wang Meimei's eyes darkened, and she pointed her hands together into claws. With a thud, it stabs at Yi Ren's chest. Rip open. This move can be described as vicious. If someone else, the flesh and blood body would probably be pierced by her on the spot, and then directly torn in half. But unfortunately, clang, when her fingers hit Yi Ren's chest. There was a sound of steel hitting. Then she groaned. Broken. I don't know if it was a nail or a finger, but one must have been broken. Still want to escape. Yi Ren grabbed Wang Meimei's neck. But she slipped out of Yi Ren's hand like a loach. At the same time, Yi Ren looked at the light brown slime on his fingertips with disgust. What kind of disgusting thing is this? Foundation liquid. Wang Meimei glared at Yi Ren fiercely. Liquid foundation looks like this. Yi Ren's pupils shrank. At this time, Wang Meimei screamed and rushed towards Yi Ren. Boom! Yi Ren was hit hard. Honestly, although it can't break the defense, it really hurts. Although everything is said slowly. But in fact, the movements of the two were so fast that they had to be seen clearly with a high-speed camera. Wang Meimei's bloody right hand was clenched into a fist. A punch hit Yi Ren's temple. Boom! Yi Ren tilted his head to avoid it, and the cabinet behind him burst open. The tall thick wooden long cabinet. Fist craters appeared where they were hit, and spider web-like gaps exploded around the crater. The response is very fast. Wang Meimei punched again. Because of his inexperience, Yi Ren couldn't dodge. The nose was punched solidly. Head back. The back of his head banged against the thick wooden cabinet. Boom! The cabinet shattered directly this time. I wanted to come back tonight and kill you. You asked for it. Wang Meimei's face was dark. She picked up Yi Ren's collar with both hands. It was like grabbing a plush toy and smashing it hard on the ground. Clang! The ground sank. Gravel splash. The gaps spread along the sunken pit. Every time Wang Meimei attacks, the power of terror is reflected in these destroyed objects. Although Yi Ren has a lot of strength, but facing Wang Meimei, who has rich experience and stronger ability to control her body. I can't use my strength. Die to me. With Wang Meimei's sharp roar, Yi Ren's head was smashed into the ground. Solved it. However, the next moment, Wang Meimei's pupils shrank into needles. Wang Meimei took 2 steps back. 4 years ago, she was a warrior of the 3rd stage Yaoguang stepping into the sky. These 4 years, she went through a lot of changes in the cannibal society. It stands to reason that he should already be very strong. And, that guy's head was hammered into the ground by himself, isn't he dead yet? Clatter. Yi Ren stretched himself up. The dirt on his body slid down his clothes. He touched his nose, it was bright red, and it was hot and painful. Quote. Anger. It was burning violently. This moment. Wang Meimei felt a great threat. Instinct was frantically reminding her. Escape. Run away. However, she only saw an afterimage. Too fast. Although his body had instinctively started to dodge, his speed was far beyond his imagination. Boom! Wang Meimei only saw things flickering on both sides of her eyes. Then I felt a sharp pain in my chest. Cough, cough, cough. She found herself flying out of the nail salon. Directly smashed into the wall. Fell on the side of the road. People around were startled and screamed to run away. What kind of monster? Wang Meimei wanted to prop up her body, but couldn't help but spit out a mouthful of blood. She knew she was hurt badly. But without action. That would really die. Yi Ren came out of the nail salon. With an angry look on his face, Wang Meimei was shocked. He looks like, really angry, because it hurts. Yi Ren was aroused bloody, and now he has no intention of holding back. Call out. He appeared in front of Wang Meimei almost instantly. A punch hit Wang Meimei's head. Boom. Wang Meimei dodged in the nick of time. Just horrified, there was unstoppable fear in his eyes. This punch, a small hole of nearly 5 centimeters was made directly on the concrete floor. The pit was blasted open. The side is full of dense cracks. What kind of monster are you? Wang Meimei made a sharp sound. If the concrete floor is beaten like this, is this still human flesh? She was scared. The toes are lighter, the body is as light as catkins, and the speed has also risen to a higher level. As a 3-stage warrior. Can't beat it. Running can always pass, right? Every time she jumps, it seems like she is flying at a low altitude, flying directly about 10 meters away. As your speed slows, take advantage of nearby buildings. Fly more than 10 meters. In the blink of an eye, Wang Meimei had already run 100 meters away. However, boom, Yi Ren suddenly disappeared in place. The rotting shoes were lifted from the ground by the shock wave. A cloud of white sonic boom appeared in the sky. This speaks to Yi Ren's speed. The sound barrier has been broken. Quote? Wang Meimei's eyes blurred, but Yi Ren actually appeared and stopped her. Look at his posture. That is, punch, haha. The moment the fist rushed, Wang Meimei dodged Yi Ren's fist with an unbelievable lower back. But the price was loss of balance, and the whole person crashed into the convenience store next to him under the effect of inertia. There were screams from inside. The store manager ran out with a face full of fear. Yi Ren's anger dissipated slightly. He touches his nose. The bleeding had stopped, or rather, it had stopped within the 3rd second of the injury. Just as Yi Ren strode into the convenience store. When lifting Wang Meimei, who was coughing up blood, with one hand. The officers of the Special Affairs Bureau arrived. They surrounded the convenience store with dull faces. Among them, the expressions are the most complicated. It is nothing more than an assistant to the Forestry Bureau. Yi, little brother Yi, you put that guy down first. Yi Ren took a deep breath in front of them, and threw Wang Meimei in front of the assistant like throwing trash. This guy killed a lot of people, will she be sentenced to death? The officers looked at each other. Help me, Wang Meimei called out tremblingly. She moved away from Yi Ren. Monster. In her eyes, Yi Ren is now a monster. Don't worry, she will definitely pay the price she deserves. 10 minutes later, Yi Ren was sitting in the lounge of the Special Administration Bureau, and Bureau Lin was watching the surveillance video seriously opposite him. Behind him were nervous assistants and a bunch of operators who were crazily drooling. In the end, Bureau Lin rubbed his temples and said, "You are a martial arts prodigy." Martial arts prodigy. These 4 words are not enough to describe the shock in Bureau Lin's heart. Exaggerated speed, inhuman reaction, terrifying power. Such a person. It's just a warrior right now. Forest Bureau grinned. Yi Ren, you haven't had lunch yet, have you? Let's go, Uncle Lin will take you to have a good meal. Well, Yi Ren scratched his head and asked shyly. Not too good, Forest Bureau, it's costing you too much. Ham, what is it called? The Forest Bureau, Uncle Lin, it's just a meal, there's nothing to spend on it. Soon, Yi Ren was taken to the city center by the Forestry Bureau. Shocking banquet. This is a restaurant, which is said to have been open for more than 200 years. From generation to generation, it is the best, most expensive, and most influential restaurant in Y City, people who can come to this place to consume. It's not rich or expensive. Come on. Forest Bureau led Yi Ren in with a kind smile on his face. Even though he hardly ever came to this place. But in order to make a good impression on Yi Ren, he could only think of this. Wow, it's expensive to eat here, isn't it? Yi Ren stared blankly at the luxurious decoration around him. The nose has already smelled the alluring fragrance. At the dinner table, Xiaoyi, is it all right for Uncle Lin to call you that? Bureau Lin, please don't be so. I'm a little cowardly. As the saying goes, when something goes wrong, there must be a demon. Bureau Lin was in a high position, suddenly became so friendly, Yi Ren felt his scalp numb and full of embarrassment. Cough, drink, Xiaoyi. Can I drink Coca-Cola? Coke. Bureau Lin's expression choked for a moment, then he nodded with a smile. Okay, it's a good habit not to drink alcohol, although alcohol won't affect the warrior's body. A series of delicacies with complete color, fragrance and taste were brought up. Yi Ren swallowed. Fragrant, penetrating fragrance. Eat first, Xiaoyi, don't be polite to Uncle Lin. Then I'm really rude, Forest Bureau. The smile on Forest Bureau's face. It quickly turned to shock. Is this a martial arts prodigy? Eating is like a dragon sucking water. 3 mouthfuls stuffed a roast suckling pig. I rely on a stuffy Boston lobster. The condensed mountain delicacy soup stewed in an iron pot is enough for 5 people, and it is poured down tons and tons. But, maybe martial arts prodigy is like this, the physical condition is different from ordinary people. Bureau Lin wiped the cold sweat off his brow. He couldn't help worrying about whether Yi Ren would choke himself to death. Coincidentally, at this moment a young man passed by the table. He was taken aback when he saw Bureau Lin, and then his face immediately became tense. Within minutes, the young man followed several middle-aged men. Trot over enthusiastically all the way. Hey, isn't this the Forest Bureau? What a coincidence, you're eating here too. Bureau Lin looked up at him, frowned and thought for 3 or 4 seconds. You are Zhang Yuge, right? Ah yes yes yes. The middle-aged man smiled obsequiously, and pushed the young man beside him out. Bureau Lin, this is my son. I have met you a few times before. Young people are also nervous. Hi Uncle Lin, I'm Zhang Yang. I'm 18 this year. I'm in the Erduan Dongming Qi training state. My wish since I was a child is to join the special department and become a useful person to society. He spoke in one breath without panting. But no matter how you look at it, how hypocritical and contrived. Zhang Yuge glanced at Bureau Forest. Ah, Bureau Lin, you see, I also wanted to treat you to dinner a long time ago, isn't it just a coincidence? Forest Bureau waved his hand. Excuse me, today I'm taking the younger generation out to relax and not discuss business. Junior, relax for a moment. Zhang Yuge's eyes fell on Yi Ren. He asked cautiously, I don't know if this is. Could it be the young master of some important family? This kid is a martial arts prodigy, I am very optimistic about him, oh yes. Bureau Lin seemed to suddenly remember something. He looked at Zhang Yang. You want to go to the 4 colleges, right? So your father asked me to help write a letter of recommendation. Speaking of this, Zhang Yuge's eyes lit up. But Forest Bureau shook his head again. Sorry, my recommended quota for this year has already been given to Xiaoyi. This time Zhang Yuge and his son suddenly became stiff. Zhang Yang's eyes, already getting jealous, he frowned at Yi Ren. Ah, it looks very common. That outfit didn't seem to cost more than $200. Zhang Yuge also wants to fight for. Bureau Lin, my son has just turned 18, and his college entrance examination scores are not bad, as long as you write a few strokes. It's not that I don't help, I only have 1 quota a year, and I already gave it to Xiaoyi. The atmosphere became a little stiff. But Zhang Yuge deserved to be old and tactful, so he changed the subject with a smile. To be recommended by the Forestry Bureau, this little brother must be very talented. Hick. Yi Ren put down the braised pork trotter in his hand. Nodded calmly. Uncle, I'm sorry that I stole your son's recommendation, but I think it's right to recommend this thing to qualified people. Show your sharpness. Zhang Yuge's eyes changed slightly. He smiled and patted his son on the shoulder. Coincidentally, the dog is not talented, in the college entrance examination, only 9 points away from the full score. Yi Ren snorted. The passerby who was eating vibrato next to him. Suddenly, I saw the number. 1 scholar on Duin, how is it so similar to that boy gnawing on a pig's trotter over there? He couldn't help but whispered to the people around him. Hey, look over there, is it the person in my phone? It's kind of like, wait a minute, with a score of 400 in the college entrance examination, the #1 scholar in City Y, is he himself? My God, it's really me. They're not too loud. But the hearing of warriors is generally very good. Many people cast their eyes on the crowd. The arrogance on Zhang Yuji's face also turned into wavering hesitation at this moment. Impossible. It was his son who insisted that Yi Ren was not the champion. How could such a coincidence? However, Bureau Lin gave him a look like an idiot. It's ridiculous. Just now I was saying that Yi Ren is a martial arts prodigy, didn't they listen to me? 297 points. You did well in the exam, you are already great. This sentence came out of the mouth of Yi Ren, who was 400 points. Full of irony. Only then did Zhang Yuji and his son turn pale, and quickly found a reason to leave. So many people around watching. It's just social death. After his identity was exposed, Yi Ren's meals were not peaceful either. A large number of mobile phone cameras were aimed at him, and several innocent and beautiful girls came over to ask for WeChat. If there is no monitor, Yi Ren can still accept it cheerfully, but now he just finds it annoying. At this time, the bosses of Jinghong Banquet actually ran over. He smiled and invited Yi Ren and Bureau Lin to the private room. Generally speaking, the private rooms of the Jinghong Banquet are only reserved in advance and are for family banquet level people. Therefore, it is very large and spacious, and can accommodate 4 or 5 large tables, accommodating dozens of people. Thank you, boss. You are welcome. It is our honor that the champion can come to eat with us. The boss not only waived the order, but also handed Yi Ren a card. Means within the next year. Yi Ren is 25% off when you come over. But Yi Ren didn't take it seriously. After all, he had to go to Qinglong Academy in the capital in half a month. At that time, I will rarely come back to City Y. Ahem, Xiaoyi, are you full? If you are full, Uncle Lin wants to talk to you about something serious. Coming. Yi Ren wiped his mouth, a little nervous. Please tell me. Bureau Lin knocked on the table and asked under Yi Ren's nervous gaze. Well, are you still single? Quote. Yi Ren slowly made a question mark. Subconsciously moved the chair back. Bureau Lin, I'm straight, and you're already old, it's not good. Quote. Forest Bureau was also taken aback. Then his face was covered with black lines, and the corners of his eyes twitched with laughter and cursed. What are you thinking about, kid? My daughter is also at Qinglong University. If not unexpected, she will be your senior sister. Yi Ren understands. It's like this. I'm not a good father. My daughter has been alienated from me since she was a child, so Uncle Lin wants to ask you something. I hope you can be there for Uncle Lin and take care of her more, how about it? Facing Forest Bureau's expectant gaze, Yi Ren suddenly felt that the meal was a bit of a waste. He smiled wryly, and was about to speak, when suddenly an accident happened. Puff! A bullet hole appeared in the wall of the private room. A piercing bullet aimed at warriors entered from the back of Forest Bureau. And pierced through the chest. Yi Ren's pupils shrank, and he subconsciously went to support Bureau Lin. Bureau Lin wiped his chest. Blood stained his palm. That location. Just right through the heart. Little, Xiaoyi. Shut up, Bureau Lin, I'll take you to the hospital. No, too late. The Jinghong Banquet is 7 or 8 kilometers away from the hospital. In addition, it is mealtime and there are traffic jams everywhere. Although warriors of the 3rd stage can fly around in the street. But if you drag another person. But it can't be so light. Xiaoyi, help Uncle Lin, take care of my daughter. Forest Bureau's voice was very weak. Every word is hard to utter. He thinks, there is no doubt that I will die, but there are many things that I can't let go of. Ben would like to say a few more last words. But there was a blur in front of his eyes, and the whistling wind made Bureau Lin feel a little breathless. Bureau Lin was a little dizzy. He was literally blown awake. Even though Yi Ren was still holding Bureau Lin, a 170-pound man. But his speed is still frighteningly fast. 4 minutes. Yi Ren's speed reached a terrifying 300 meters per second. He even broke the sound barrier several times. After rushing into the hospital. The ability to see through plays a huge role. Yi Ren directly threw the half-dead Lin Ju in front of the doctor. Doctor, help. Bureau Lin is dying. Puff. Just finished an operation. A doctor drinking tea in his office. Yi Ren was sprayed on the spot. Where did you come from? Like a ghost. In the eyes of the doctor, Yi Ren suddenly appeared in his office as soon as he raised his teacup and took a sip. There's no time to explain, get in the car quickly. Bah, save people. The doctor was also taken aback when he saw Bureau Lin's injuries. This is a gunshot wound caused by a sniper rifle. It went right through the heart. What about the doctor? Use your invincible medical skills to save him. The doctor slapped Lin Ju on the chest. Seal veins. In the blink of an eye, Bureau Lin's vital signs stabilized. Yi Ren was envious after watching this unique skill. Here, can I learn? What are you learning? The meridian sealing technique. You can't learn this, it's not that easy. After vein sealing, the doctor frowned and scanned the wound. He rubbed his hands together, and a faint blue light came out of his palms. What's this? Yi Ren was dumbfounded as the doctor's palm changed under the blue light. Granulation on the skin of the palm. Deformed growths erratically protruded 5 fingers. In the blink of an eye, the doctor's hands turned into a strange look. That. Boy, help me take off his shirt. Yi Ren was taken aback. Then with a stabbing sound, Bureau Lin's shirt was easily torn apart. Hey, you have a lot of strength. The doctor glanced at Yi Ren's hands in some surprise. Then he pressed his palm on Bureau Lin's chest, under the blue light. The blood hole in Lin Ju's chest healed quickly. Yi Ren blinked. Lin Ju's skin became transparent, and his muscles gradually faded. Using clairvoyance, Yi Ren saw that Bureau Lin's pierced heart was beating again. In the wounded heart, granulation sprouted at the hole. Completed self-healing in a slightly deformed manner. What is this? Superpower. After the doctor heard Yi Ren's exclamation. Looked at him in surprise. The power of blood, you haven't heard of it, have you? Quote. Yi Ren shook his head in bewilderment. Let Lao Lin explain to you, Yan. I have to go take a break. The doctor yawned wearily. When the blue light faded, he took out the scalpel from the disinfection cabinet. In front of Yi Ren, he cut off all the deformed growths and granulation on his hands. Seeing this scene, Yi Ren's scalp tingled. Soon, Bureau Lin came to his senses. He was stupefied and couldn't believe that he was still alive after joining. He touched his chest. Old Lin, it's a good thing you came quickly. If you wait a few more minutes, even I won't be able to save you. Director Lin looked at Yi Ren in astonishment. After a long while, he sighed, good guy. Indeed, a martial arts prodigy. Thanks to Yi Ren, he was rescued. If it is said that the Forestry Bureau was optimistic and valued Yi Ren before, that now, his feelings towards Yi Ren are a little more complicated. This is life-saving grace. Xiaoyi, Uncle Lin owes you his life. You are serious. Compared with this, we should care more about who did it. Bureau Lin's face darkened. In the urban area, he was shot through the heart by a sniper. This matter is very serious. At the same time, the Special Affairs Bureau called the Forestry Bureau. What? Wang Meimei is missing. Originally tonight, Wang Meimei would be sent to the capital court for sentencing by people from the capital. What do you mean by missing? What are you guys doing? Are you eating dry food? The assistant didn't dare to take a breath. I'm coming back now, everyone is waiting for me in the bureau. Bureau Lin asked the doctor to borrow some clothes and left in a hurry. Before leaving, he kept thanking Yi Ren. Wang Meimei joined a cult called Cannibal Society 4 years ago. After she was caught by the special service. Originally, Wang Meimei had resigned herself to her fate, but she didn't expect. The organization sent me to rescue you. Wang Meimei knew the man in front of her. He has been reticent in the organization, wearing half a mask. Always mysterious. It is said that his status in the Cannibal Society is not low. The leader talked to him alone many times. During the time you were locked up, you probably didn't disclose information about the organization to them. No, absolutely not. Wang Meimei shivered, and subconsciously raised 3 fingers to swear. Well, get in the car, we should go home. Wang Meimei sat in the co-pilot. From time to time, he secretly looked at him from the corner of his eye. After hesitating for a while, may I have your name? Spleen. Ah, call me Spleen, that's my name. He drives a car. It seemed that he suddenly remembered something. Ask Wang Meimei to bring him a bag from the trunk of the rear seat. With the bag opened, a strong fishy smell came. He held the steering wheel in one hand and reached in with the other. When he took it out again, he was holding a bloody organ in his hand. That's a spleen. He just stuffed it into his mouth. Take a bite. The picture is too disgusting. Even Wang Meimei, who is known as the Cannibal Society, can't accept it. The Cannibal Society will be hiding for a while recently, he said while eating, because that organization seems to have taken action. In order to prevent cannibalism from being annexed, it has to disappear for a while. That organization. Wang Meimei seemed to think of something, her face changed slightly. Well, there are people from that organization in every city, we have to be careful. Before the words fell, the rear tire suddenly exploded. The car crashed out of control into a fire hydrant on the side of the road. Spleen's eyes froze. We are being targeted, get out of the car and go separately, and gather here tonight. Spleen threw Wang Meimei a mobile phone. He picked up the guitar case on the back seat with his backhand, turned around and disappeared into the crowd. Into the night. The Spleen is waiting at the appointed place. Suddenly he heard a rustling sound. He followed the reputation. Chuck. That figure was slender and slender, definitely not Wang Meimei. Without the slightest hesitation, Spleen turned around and ran away, throwing a smoke bomb at his feet. The figure followed quickly. It's from that organization. A hint of anxiety appeared on Spleen's face. He is also a warrior of the third stage Yaoguang stepping into the air, and he quickly assembled the sniper rifle in his hand while running. Boom. Despite the muffler, there's still plenty of movement. The bullet was easily dodged by the people behind him. But he didn't expect to hit it either. As long as he could hinder the opponent, it would create opportunities for him to escape. But suddenly lights came on all around. The operatives of the Special Affairs Bureau have already set up an ambush. Close the net. At this moment, both the pupils of Spleen and the mysterious person chasing and killing Spleen shrank. Kill on the spot, no need to live. Forest Bureau's cold voice reached the ears of the operators. Next moment, both the Spleen and the mysterious man were surrounded by bullets. Yi Ren was sleeping soundly, but suddenly he opened his eyes. He heard the monitor's weak voice outside the window. Yi Ren. After Yi Ren opened the window, the squad leader, covered in blood, fell headfirst. Very heavy. Yi Ren glanced over. The ability of clairvoyance allowed him to see the densely packed bullets in the squad leader's body. At least there are 70 or 80 pieces. Someone is chasing me. Yi Ren stared out the window, superimposed with clairvoyance and supervision. Soon, they saw the Forest Bureau and the others approaching rapidly. The Special Administration is chasing you. Why? Quote. The squad leader pursed his lips, his face pale. At this moment, golden light has faintly bloomed in her body. I have to repress. But it hurts so much. The squad leader felt dizzy in his head. I shouldn't have come here. If he loses control, then Yi Ren will definitely be killed by himself. Originally, the squad leader just wanted to escape to a place where no one was around. But don't know why, subconsciously found Yi Ren's side. Until now, the squad leader just woke up. Her eyes were cold and stern, and she stood up enduring the severe pain. Let me go. Stop. Where are you going? Yi Ren pushed the squad leader back, his face full of distress. I'm a trouble, I can't drag you down. The squad leader wanted to break free. But for a while, he couldn't break free. She thought it was because she was too weak. Let me go, Yi Ren. If the Secret Service finds out that Yi Ren is hiding himself, he will turn into a criminal. Even if the Special Administration can't find it. The squad leader felt that he had reached the limit of his patience. The energy in the body will explode at any time. Yi Ren will be killed. Let me go. Don't want. Yi Ren flatly refused, and even hugged the squad leader into his arms with his backhand. Quote. Seem. It's not that hard anymore. Is it an illusion? The squad leader didn't know that it was Yi Ren who was absorbing the energy in her body. I thought I had it under control. At this time, people from the Special Affairs Bureau have arrived, and they kicked down the door of Yi Ren's house. The guns were aimed at Yi Ren's forehead. Yi Ren, what are you doing? Forest Bureau saw this scene in front of him. That's pupil constriction. The murderer was actually held in Yi Ren's arms. Put her down, Yi Ren, she's dangerous. However, Yi Ren lowered his head. Sorry Forest Bureau, I can't do it. At the same time, Yi Ren lowered his head and said to the monitor in a weak voice. I'll help you stop them, you run away quickly. Don't worry, I know Forest Bureau, they won't kill me. When you are safe, send me a message. The squad leader's pupils trembled. Subconsciously, she tugged on Yi Ren's sleeve. But Yi Ren turned around with her in his arms. Slowly walked to the window. Forest Bureau couldn't help shouting. Yi Ren, what are you doing? She is a murderer, you put her down. Everyone gripped their guns harder. Forefinger on the trigger. It seemed ready to fire at any moment. Bureau Forest was very anxious. However, Yi Ren sighed. Sorry. As he spoke, he threw the squad leader out forcefully. She moves in the air. With a few taps on the wall with his toes, his body escaped into the darkness. Yi Ren. Veins popped up on Bureau Lin's forehead. He picked up Yi Ren's collar. Do you know what you are doing? Yi Ren is very calm. Well, I know. Director Lin, do you want to do something? Bureau Lin's chest rose and fell rapidly. He gritted his teeth. In the end, he sighed bitterly. Handcuff him and take him back to the bureau. Late at night in the detention room of the special service. Yi Ren sat quietly on the chair, his hands were handcuffed. Bureau Lin and his assistant sat opposite him. Yi Ren, you did this, have you considered the consequences? No, you want to go to jail. I will resist. Yi Ren looked at Bureau Lin's face calmly. He pulled with both hands. The handcuffs snapped with a click. Watching this scene, Bureau Lin's pupils shrank. These are the special handcuffs that even the warriors of the fourth stage of Kaiyang control state can't break free. Bureau Lin, I have done nothing wrong, please don't force me. Are you threatening us? Forest Bureau's eyes hardened. Yi Ren shook his head. No, I just wanted to say, if I was really cornered, the consequences would be dire. The assistant swallowed. Do not know why. Obviously he knows that Yi Ren is just a warrior. But being watched by him with calm eyes, the assistant felt as if he would die at any moment. Ahem, calm down, both of you, drink a cup of Wang Laoji first to calm down. Forest Bureau's face darkened. After a while, he patted the table. Yi Ren. You saved my life today, and now I will pay you back the favor. The implication. He no longer intends to hold Yi Ren accountable. Yi Ren also heard the meaning, and asked with a slightly relaxed expression. Bureau Lin, why did you chase her down? Because she is from that organization. That organization. Bureau Lin glanced at the assistant. He immediately understood and went to turn off the surveillance. At the same time, the curtain of the detention room was drawn to completely isolate it from the outside world. The next thing I tell you, you must not reveal it, Yi Ren. Forest Bureau lowered his voice. Tell Yi Ren a confidential message that needs to be signed. 20 years ago, our country and M country almost went to war because we found something on the border. We've been fighting over it. But no one expected it to be alive. Eventually it escaped, and in a very short period of time, it grew beyond our imagination. That thing called itself God. It has some unimaginable abilities. Does God really exist? Yi Ren couldn't help asking. It exists, but it's not the kind of omnipotent guy you imagined. At most, it can be regarded as a higher life than human beings. That which claims to be God. Hiding where no one will be found, gathering followers, forming an organization. It's inconvenient for me to say the name of that organization, that's a taboo. But you need to know. That organization, whether it's in Dragon Country or M Country. Once discovered, it will be eliminated by the power of the whole country. That organization was just established. At the same time, the massacre of human beings was carried out in the Dragon Country and the M Country. In Dragon Country, that organization's target is warriors with bloodline power, while in M Country, it's targeting supernatural beings. Etc. Yi Ren raised his hand. The power of blood, what exactly is it? When he first heard the word. Still in the hospital, Dr. Lan rubbed his hands together, emitting a blue light of healing. Although the light would make Dr. Lan's own hands deformed. The power of blood, is a secret that almost all warriors know. They will tell you when you arrive at Qinglong Academy, but now since you asked. Warriors can continuously evolve their bodies through practice. This is commonly known as the road to spiritual martial arts. A stage of Yinyuan realm, commonly known as the body refining realm, the body of the warrior will become tougher, and after training, he can fight a tiger one-on-one. Or Duandong Mingjing, commonly known as Qi training environment, warriors will be able to feel the Qi in the universe, a kind of energy that exists widely, but people know little about it. The three-stage Yaoguang mirror, commonly known as the space-walking realm, allows warriors to use the energy of Qi to counter gravity and make themselves as light as a swallow. The fourth stage of opening the sun, commonly known as the control of soldiers, the martial artist can control the Qi to a higher level, making it attached to the weapon, so that it can be commanded like an arm. The fifth stage of Yuang realm, commonly known as the control equipment realm, is an advanced step in the control of soldiers. Flying with a sword is no longer a dream, and you can take the enemy's head thousands of miles away. Yi Ren was dumbfounded. Really? This world is not a world of high martial arts. Yu Jianfei has come out. What about the sixth paragraph? At the sixth stage of heaven power, warriors have been able to control the five elements between heaven and earth through Qi, which has completely surpassed the limits of human beings. In the seventh stage of the sky, warriors can ride the wind and travel thousands of miles a day, and easily destroy mountains, seas and rivers with just a few gestures. The eighth section of Tianshuan realm has no information. Yi Ren was fascinated by the sound, snapped, and it was gone. Director Lin shook his head. Once a warrior breaks through the seventh tier and breaks through the eighth tier, he will either be directly blasted into slag by attracting thunder, or suddenly set himself on fire and turn into black powder in an instant, or his whole body will be detached, and his death will be worse than Ling Kai. No, Yi Ren frowned tightly. Is this a catastrophe? Has no one successfully crossed the catastrophe? It is said that decades ago, there was a seventh stage senior who tried to resist the thunder with a Faraday cage, but was killed in the end. Faraday cage. Yes, I believe in science, but it turns out that the sky thunder is not scientific at all, and even a Faraday cage can't stop it. Forest Bureau sighed. What about you? Do you feel angry? I feel a little. Yi Ren wasn't lying. When I was pointed at guns at home by a bunch of people from the Special Affairs Bureau. He vaguely felt some kind of mysterious energy surrounding his body. As the time goes, this perception became clearer, and Yi Ren stretched out his hand. A whirl of gold emerged from the fingertips. Is this just anger? Quote? Bureau Lin's eyes widened in confusion. Later. What the hell did you do? It takes at least 4 stages of Kaiyang to control soldiers to release Qi. Quote? Yi Ren made a question mark slowly. 4 paragraphs. Bureau Lin was really frightened. He swallowed. When did you find that you could let your breath out? Just now, I can feel this energy and release it easily. The gold cyclone swirled around Yi Ren's fingertips. Qi is a type of energy. Free from the body, but they poured into Yi Ren's body. Cells convert this energy. Take an inappropriate example. The energy stored in Yi Ren's cells is like an emperor wearing a crown. And Qi is a soldier. After Qi entered the body and saw the emperor. Can be easily controlled by Yi Ren. Maybe, this is a martial arts wizard. Bureau Lin couldn't think of any other explanation, so he could only rub his temples with a wry smile. Another point. Your gas, why is it gold's? Forest Bureau fetched his Tang Dao. The movement gently caressed the blade, and the eyes were very gentle. For warriors, weapons are their own siblings. Look. There was a groan of a knife. The body of the knife is covered by a layer of translucent cyclones. Light is refracted as it passes through the cyclone. From this, the naked eye will see the blade distorting the surrounding air indistinctly. As long as you can control your soldiers with Qi, you will be a 4th-level warrior. Although this is my sword. But Yi Ren, come and try. A warrior who has just broken through the 4th stage. You can only simply release the cyclone, which requires continuous practice and takes a lot of time and energy. In the end, all the Qi can cover the weapon. Okay, let me try. But as soon as Yi Ren got his hands on, gold cyclone whizzed. Tang Dao seemed to be dyed with a layer of gold flames. Light up the entire detention room. Even the Bureau of Forestry couldn't help bursting out a burst of foul language. What's the situation? He managed to control soldiers with air in an instant. And what is the special effect of this gold? Wow, it's gold legendary. Yi Ren is holding the handle of the knife, which is a tang knife more than half a meter long. Under the action of the gold cyclone, it extended to nearly 1.5 meters. When the blade is near the table in the center of the detention room, it's like cutting tofu with a hot knife. It sank in so easily that it didn't even seem to need force. Just relying on gravity, the tang knife can easily cut the table in half. It's kind of interesting. Yi Ren cheerfully put his palm on the blade. This made Forest Bureau tremble with fright. But the gold cyclone was instantly extinguished when it got close to the body. It's fun, return it to you, Bureau Forest. Trembling, Director Lin took back his knife. I don't know if it's an illusion. It seemed to want to escape from its own hands, wanting to return to Yi Ren's side. Quote. What is this wonderful feeling of being NT red? Wrong. Pulling away, I was talking about that organization. Ahem, back to the topic. The so-called power of blood refers to certain specific warriors. Yi Ren, I have always said that you are a martial arts prodigy. This is not a simple compliment. Because I'm sure you also have the power of blood. Yi Ren's pupils shrank. It all makes sense. Remember Ao Qingyang, that arrogant and stupid guy? His father is Ao Guang. Ao Guang, everyone knows this name. A boss of the 7th stage of the Tianji realm, he was nicknamed the Dragon King of the North Sea. When a martial artist breaks through to the 6th stage, he will awaken the power of bloodlines and have power beyond the limits of human beings. Awakening, the offspring they gave birth to can also inherit the power of the bloodline. The proud son of heaven is the description of such a kind of existence, but. Chapter 51. After inheriting the power of blood. Some Tianzi are relatively good, and they will show talents that are different from ordinary people at the 3rd or 4th stage. Those with poor Tianzi will only show up after breaking through the 5th stage. And you, Yi Ren, you showed something different when you were in the Yinyuan body training state. Bureau Lin's eyes seemed to be looking at a treasure. Exaggerated physical strength, comparable to the reaction of a 3rd-tier warrior. You arouse the power of the bloodline in a short period of time, so Yi Ren, you are a martial arts genius. Yi Ren scratched his head. After listening for a long time, he summed up one point. What are the powers of blood generally? Well, Ao Guang, the Dragon King of the North Sea, with the power of his blood can control rivers, seas and even temporarily affect the weather. There was a flood in the south, and it only took him half an hour to completely solve the natural disaster. Not only that, the most top-notch in the power of blood. It is the blood of the 4 great beasts. Qinglong, immortal. Vermilion bird, bathed in fire. Xuanwu, Mingzong. White tiger, punish evil. The power of the bloodline is inherited from the ancient beasts. Yes, Yi Ren opened his mouth. The power of his own blood is obviously not possible. I have traveled through time, and the power of my bloodline has inexplicably turned into a Kryptonian bloodline. Yi Ren, you should be from Teoti or a similar bloodline. Forest Bureau inferred. Yi Ren thought for a while and didn't refute. People in this world don't even know what Krypton is. One more thing, Yi Ren, remember the organization I mentioned? Recently, they seem to have taken action again. You have to be careful and avoid the edge for the time being. People from that organization, it specializes in slaughtering warriors with the power of blood. Yi Ren nodded. Just then, the assistant knocked on the door. With an ugly face, he whispered something in Bureau Lin's ear. After hearing this, Bureau Lin's expression also turned ugly. It was indeed our fault. After Yi Ren went out with the Forest Bureau, he found a group of strangers from the Special Department. They also wore the uniform of the Special Service. It's just the medals on the shoulders, which are different from those of the Forest Bureau. These people are colleagues of the Capital Special Service. The assistant explained to Yi Ren in a low voice. So, we hurried over from the capital, but you told me that guy ran away. Speaker. It was Chen Xiaochong, the captain of the number 4 team of the Capital Special Administration Bureau. They came to City Y at the order of the director. The purpose is to bring cult warrior Wang Meimei back to the capital for interrogation. But now, Wang Meimei disappeared, and they made a trip in vain. This is my dereliction of duty. Bureau Lin sullenly. The surrounding officers of City-wise Special Bureau lowered their heads in shame. On the other hand, this group of people from the capital. All of them rolled their eyes, and some even sneered. Chen Shouchong's face darkened. Said that this matter is no small matter, so that the Forestry Bureau resigned. Lin Ju opened his mouth, but Chen Shouchong grabbed the medal on Lin Ju's shoulder first. There was a sting. The Special Service medal was torn off by it. You don't deserve to wear this. At this scene, the expressions of everyone in the Special Bureau of City-wide changed. Individual temper is relatively dry. He glared at Chen Shouchong on the spot and clenched his fists tightly. Chen Shouchong was much younger than Bureau Lin. He looked no older than 30. It was such a young man who humiliated Bureau Lin so much. People ran, but not completely. What did you say? Yi Ren suddenly cut in on the sidelines. Chen Shouchong frowned and looked at him. No uniform during working hours, you. Sorry, I'm not from the special administration. Is that the criminal? ... Yi Ren touched his nose. He said in front of Chen Shouchong and all the officers of the Special Bureau in the capital. Before 7 o'clock tomorrow morning at the latest, I will bring him back to you. ... Bureau Lin's pupils shrank. I quickly wanted to explain to Yi Ren. But at this time Yi Ren had already left the Special Bureau, and disappeared into the night in the blink of an eye. It's 7 o'clock in the morning. Just under 5 hours. Who is this guy? Chen Shouchong looked at Bureau Lin. He is a martial arts prodigy. ... Chen Shouchong was stunned by this wrong answer. But it doesn't matter anymore. He sneered and said that he could give City Y a chance to remedy the situation. As long as the person is caught before 7 o'clock in the morning. Then everything is not a problem. On the contrary. If you don't deserve to be the chief of the special service, we'll send someone better. Hearing this sentence, Bureau Lin's face darkened. In addition to the logistics staff, the other officers of the Special Affairs Bureau chased them out on motorcycles. Although the chances of finding Wang Meimei are slim. But you still have to work hard, don't you? Where did he go? The assistant of the Forest Bureau was riding a motorcycle and wanted to join Yi Ren. But it's only been a while, and he has lost track of Yi Ren, which makes him doubt his professional strength. Yi Ren, on the other hand, was listening intently. He's like a big radar. Fang Yuan's voice from thousands of meters away cannot escape Yi Ren's ears. Besides Wang Meimei, there is another cult member. This is what the Forest Bureau told Yi Ren. It's just that the cult member's body skills are very good, and he uses smoke bombs and shock bombs at the same time. They escaped the Forest Bureau's roundup at that time. But the squad leader was very unlucky. He was chased all the way by the Forest Bureau and they thought it was Wang Meimei. Jingle bell. There was a message from the monitor. She told Yi Ren that she was safe. Yi Ren tilted his head slightly, intending to ask casually. Does the squad leader know of Wang Meimei's whereabouts? But I didn't expect the squad leader to really know. She's dead. I killed her. ... Yi Ren stopped in his tracks and hesitated for a long time with his fingers on the screen, not knowing what to reply. In the end Yi Ren got Wang Meimei's body from the monitor. Why did you kill her? Outside the Hu family martial arts hall. Yi Ren looked at Wang Meimei who was put into a sack. The eyes are very complicated. The squad leader just took a shower, and his body smells delicious. Hey, Yi Ren saw that she was still wearing her own t-shirt. The loose t-shirt was like a skirt. Against fate. The squad leader replied blankly. I'm not a bad person, Yi Ren, everything I do has my reasons, I'm sorry I can't tell you yet. ... Yi Ren rubbed his temples with a headache. Why can't you tell me? You know too much and you're in danger. I'm amazing. No, you have no idea what I'm up against. Yi Ren, I can't take any chances. Yi Ren sighed. Squad leader, you will lose me like this. The squad leader froze for a moment. Then there was a look of tension on his face. I'm just here to protect you. I hate that you're hiding something from me, and I'm not kidding, I'm really strong. Yi Ren clenched his fist as he spoke. I wanted to show my strength to the squad leader. But found out, if you break something, you have to pay for it, and you might even be detained for disrupting official duties. I'm really strong. Yi Ren, can you give me some time? I promise it won't be too long. When the time comes, I will tell you everything. Yi Ren looked at the class monitor's big, pitiful eyes. All right, my heart softened. Why can't you just trust me? I'm really strong. It's you who don't believe me, Yi Ren. If you wait until you know what I'm resisting, you will be desperate. Yi Ren rolled his eyes. It doesn't work. I moved to the polar region by myself, where it is daytime all year round, and the sun shines directly on the ground. Yi Ren, I promise that after a while, I will tell you everything. Talking. The squad leader gently threw himself into Yi Ren's arms. How long? Yi Ren felt the warmth in his arms. He could hear the squad leader's heart beating fast. Hear the sound of blood vessels flowing in the squad leader's body. Before you go to the capital. Okay, then I'll wait. Yi Ren didn't know what the fate of the squad leader would be to resist, although he wanted to help her very much. But the squad leader stubbornly refused to speak. After a short warm-up, Yi Ren left with a sack, and he was going to hunt down another cult warrior, Spleen. At this time, Yi Ren realized that he had been underestimating himself. After he ran around the entire city. Why? Oh, I found it. In the middle of the night, most people have fallen asleep. Yi Ren shuttled among the tall buildings like a ghost. Everywhere you look, the walls became transparent outlines. Boom. The steel door lock was roughly broken off by Yi Ren. Quote. The two stared at each other. At this time, the spleen was still wrapping bandages around itself. After seeing Yi Ren, his movements froze, and he subconsciously touched the sniper rifle next to him. I advise you not to do that. Boom. Yi Ren flashed a sonic boom cloud on the spot, grabbed Spleen's chin within 0.1 second and smashed it to the ground. Quote. Originally, Yi Ren just wanted to hold him down. But he was wrong. Maybe it's because the spleen is brittle, or maybe Yi Ren didn't control his strength well. Bang! The head on the neck of the spleen was shattered into a paste. This one is proficient in gunfighting. He is also a warrior of the third stage Yaoguang stepping into the sky. Just like that, he died in Yi Ren's hands without any resistance. Well, Yi Ren belatedly raised his right hand. Red White's viscous flesh was peeling off his hands. Look carefully. Yi Ren's hands were trembling slightly. The headless corpse on the ground gave off a disgusting fishy smell. The place was a mess. It made Yi Ren's stomach churn even more. Vomit. He retched a few times, ran to the toilet to wash his hands frantically, and barely stopped the nausea until he was completely clean. The house must have been bought by the spleen. Yi Ren saw a male corpse in the corner of the toilet. It should be that the original owner of the house just suffered from the evil hands of the spleen. Hey, I found someone, but something went wrong. In the special office, Chen Xiaochong was sipping his coffee and flipping through the documents in front of him. Forest Bureau sat expressionlessly on the side, although it seems calm. But his fingers tapped the handle of the chair from time to time, highlighting his anxiety. Aren't you going to look for it together? What if the blind cat meets a dead mouse? Chen Xiaochong raised his mouth slightly. At this time, the sound of a motorcycle engine can be heard outside. The Assistant Forest Bureau returned with a large number of operators. Forest Bureau was very surprised. And Yi Ren walked into the hall with a sack in each hand. Everyone in Chen Xiaochong shrank their pupils. They all smelled blood. People have been found, too, both here. There was a snap. Yi Ren threw the sack in front of Chen Xiaochong. He opened the sack with a sullen face and took a look, then his face changed slightly. Why is it a dead person? They resisted, to avoid being run away again, so I killed them. Chen Xiaochong frowned tightly, his eyes swept over the officers of the Special Division. Didn't you say that you are not from the Special Bureau? Well, I'm an enthusiastic passerby, and I happened to see these two criminals, so I can't help being brave. Chen Xiaochong couldn't accept it. But after inspection, it was indeed those two cult warriors. Now, can I return the medal to the Forest Bureau? Facing Yi Ren's slightly mocking eyes, Chen Xiaochong sullenly submitted the medal back to the Forestry Bureau. You're lucky. It's not luck. Bureau Lin retorted, neither humble nor overbearing. With a dark face, Chen Shou left the special office with his own people and the two corpses. Because of the eyes of those city-wide officers, It's getting more and more wrong, and staying here will only embarrass them. Only then did Forest Bureau heave a sigh of relief. Thank you, Yi Ren. You're welcome, Bureau Forest. After all, you wrote me a letter of recommendation. Forest Bureau just smiled wryly at this. Even if I don't write a recommendation letter, with Yi Ren's qualifications, entering Qinglong Academy is also easy. The guy with the gun is tough. How did you kill him? Forest Bureau asked the assistant. But the assistant scratched his head with a wry smile, and turned his gaze to Yi Ren. Actually, we were still looking for someone outside, and suddenly Yi Ren called me, and then. Hear this. Forest Bureau was also slightly taken aback. This guy is called Spleen, and he is a senior member of the Cannibal Society. He is proficient in gunfighting. To some extent, he is more threatening than a 4th-level warrior. But it was such a ruthless character who died in the hands of Yi Ren. Proficient with firearms, he sent it without a chance to touch a gun. Yi Ren grinned. Anyway, Bureau Lin knew that he was able to keep his position thanks to Yi Ren. In the name of the Special Affairs Bureau, I will present Yi Ren, an enthusiastic citizen, with a bonus of 100,000 yuan. The next day Yi Ren was called to the Special Affairs Bureau. Received a pennant. There are also envelopes filled with 100,000 yuan. There is still half a month until the holiday. Yi Ren can't wait to fantasize about his university life in the capital. The squad leader also said that he would go with him. It's exciting just thinking about it. On the roof. Salted fish Yi Ren turned over. Country M has been very turbulent recently, and one of the reasons is the Red Shark, an organization of supernatural beings. Coincidentally, the Red Shark organization is going to send another supernatural person to Dragon Kingdom. Hey, Linda, 2 tasks, one is to capture the little genius alive, and the other is to kill the big fish. Which one do you want? Y City Airport. A seemingly young couple just got off the plane. The man has the face of a Longguo, but his eyes are small and his teeth are a little bit buckled. The woman has fair skin, and seems to be a mixed race of people from the Dragon Country and the M Country. I'll get rid of the big fish, and I'll leave the genius to you. The woman's voice is cold. The tone seemed to be quite disgusting towards men. Love you, Linda, that little genius is very cute and fits my aesthetics very well. Mike, let me remind you, if you play him badly, you know what the organization will do to you. The small-eyed buck-toothed man smiled noncommittally. In the Special Bureau, the Forestry Bureau received an urgent notice. There is a senior-level scientist who will come to our city Y for business in the next few days, and we must take care of his safety. He mobilized the entire bureau. Make escort missions the highest level. One must be perfectly prepared, even the Forest Bureau will be in the coming week. Become the personal bodyguard of the boss. Linda, do you need me to book a hotel for you? Mind yourself. It's really indifferent. Okay, then let's act separately. The two separated silently at the intersection. Linda went to the mall and bought a lot of beautiful clothes. Her protruding figure is extremely hot. Coupled with her high-value mixed-race face, it attracted the attention of many men. And Mike, when he was booking a hotel, a young couple walked past him. Mike's eyes lit up. He followed the young couple until they reached their room. Don't move, Mike grinned, showing his buck teeth. A perverted smile appeared on his face. At this time, the young couple was stiff and unable to move, only the astonishment and fear appeared in their eyes. Then, Mike pulled the young couple into the room. Then, he tortured and killed that boy. Shish, quiet, I hate noise. It was fine at first. But when Mike was enjoying himself, he suddenly showed a hideous expression. Well known, the physical fitness of supernatural beings far exceeds that of ordinary people. After any supernatural being awakens, the constitution will be greatly strengthened. So no matter what you do, if you don't control your strength, there will be serious consequences for the common people. For example, now, the boy is dead, his body is bloody, and his intestines have flowed all over the place. Alas, common human body is really fragile enough, it will be broken if you accidentally play with it. Mike sighed. The girl in the couple trembled, but was bound by a force and couldn't move her body. She could only watch helplessly as Mike walked towards her. It won't hurt. There was a clack. Mike twisted the girl's neck like a celery. Then, It's time to find that little genius. Yi Ren licked his lips. After concentrating on absorbing the sun all morning, even he felt a little tired. By the way, today is Crazy Friday. Carrie still has nearly 200,000 deposits. Don't you have to rub it? I wanted to call Wang Buchong and the others together, but who knows that these two guys are already dating. Fine. In the end, I still eat alone. The monitor is also true. Almost every time I called her, I couldn't get through, and then she would call back in the middle of the night. I had never seen her so busy when I was in school before. In the dining room, Yi Ren was just in front of Han Baga, but Mike suddenly sat in the seat in front of him. Hello, is there anyone sitting here? ? Yi Ren glanced around. Obviously there are still many vacancies, but why does this guy sit in front of me? Little handsome guy, let's get to know each other. ? I see through. There is Nantong. Yi Ren shivered. I'm sorry, I'm straight, I don't want to know you. If it was someone else, they should leave in embarrassment. But Mike smiled and stretched out his orchid finger, pretentiously picking up one of Yi Ren's fries, smeared over ketchup. Come on, let me feed you. ? I want to knock him to death. Yi Ren tried his best to suppress his prehistoric power. You'd better get out before I get angry. Yi Ren's complexion was not very good looking. Mike blinked. His hands were also frozen in the air. What happened? He should have opened his mouth and accepted his reward. Don't you want me to feed you? Yi Ren's eyes widened. Do you want to be so disgusting? Unlucky. Mom Ji. Yi Ren's face was dark, and he stopped eating, feeling his stomach was overwhelmed. Squeezed that guy's head off yesterday. Not as bad as it is now. When Yi Ren pushed the door and left, Mike looked at his hands in shock. Ability. Failed. Impossible. He tried using powers on those around him. For a moment, everyone in the entire restaurant was still, including breathing and heartbeat. This lasted only for an instant. Mike knew he couldn't kill so many people in public. But if the ability does not fail, so why is the target not affected? This is too strange. Mike frowned and took out his phone. Linda, I may need your help. Into the night, Linda and Mike appeared downstairs from Yi Ren. They deftly avoided every surveillance camera. If there is still an accident, just use North Nerve Agent to stun him and take him away. When Mike walked into the elevator, everyone in the building fell into a deep sleep. No matter what happens, none of them will wake up. Very good. The ability is effective, and there is a high probability that it is just a pure accident during the day. Door locks keep common people out. But for the supernatural. Bang, bang, bang. After Mike hammered with all his strength several times, the door lock deformed and he pulled it out with brute force. Linda, the quality of the Longguo gate lock is quite high. Do not talk nonsense. Linda frowned and glanced at him. Next moment, Linda suddenly disappeared in place. By altering the carbon arrangement of the skin, the surface of the body is made indestructible while distorting light. Moreover, this kind of stealth method cannot be detected even by infrared rays and night vision devices. Linda, who was invisible, touched it first. Mike followed. ... However, the next moment, Mike's whole body tensed up, and his body froze in place. Because he saw Yi Ren sitting in the living room. A pair of calm eyes stared at him. You are that Nan Tong. ... Mike swallowed. What happened? The script shouldn't be like this, isn't he affected by his own ability? The people in the whole building are in a deep sleep under Mike's ability. Over there, put your gun down. Yi Ren suddenly turned his eyes. He looked into the void. I can hear your heartbeat and see your blood flow, so put the weapon down. The invisible Linda also tensed her body slightly. Have you really been discovered? The guy's eyes were clearly locked on himself. But Linda doesn't believe this evil. She jerked the trigger. Tongues of flame flashed, and bullets shot out at twice the speed of sound. It hit Yi Ren's lower abdomen almost instantly. Her and Mike's mission is to capture them alive. Clang. Linda's pupils shrank. What happened? She clearly saw the bullet hit Yi Ren's body. It didn't even penetrate his skin. Instead, it bounced off after being flattened. Yi Ren stood up. It seems that there is no need to talk nonsense. A sonic boom cloud appeared with a bang, and Yi-Ren swooped in front of Linda at a teleport-like speed. Too fast. Comparable to a supernatural being. Linda put her hands together to protect her head at the critical moment. After she ate Yi-Ren's punch hard, the body flew upside down like a rocket, and hit the reinforced concrete wall directly. A huge pit appeared. After that, dense cracks appeared on the entire wall. After the force reached the limit, the wall collapsed with a loud noise. Puff! Linda felt a piercing pain. Stop! Mike's pupils shrank, and he clasped his left hand, as if trying to grab something. At the same time, Yi-Ren felt a resistance coming from his body. What kind of ability is this? Yi-Ren asked calmly. The ability to kill you. Mike restrained Yi-Ren's movements, and at the same time made a false grip with his right hand. He gritted his teeth. It seems to be very hard, and it seems to be suffering some kind of pain. Stop breathing. Yi-Ren probably understood. Mike's ability is probably to manipulate the human body. Interesting. Yi-Ren grinned at the corner of his mouth, and then stretched out his arms, as if breaking free from an invisible net. In contrast to this, Mike staggered, his eyes widened in astonishment. Turned out to be not invalid. It turned out that he forcibly broke free from his control. But why? Mike only felt a blur in front of his eyes, and Yi-Ren magnified instantly in front of him in the next moment. Stop breathing. Me too. Yi-Ren picked up Mike's neck with one hand. He knows. Just need to push yourself a little harder. Mike's neck, like a water polo, will be pinched and burst. Ah. He struggled feebly. He grabbed Yi-Ren's fingers with both hands, but he couldn't move them. His face was livid from suffocation. Full of regret and fear. Wrong. The intelligence was wrong. No one told him that the goal this time would be so powerful. Let him go, or I'll kill everyone in this whole building. A woman's growl came. Linda put her foot on what looked like a spray paint can. Her arms hanging over her chest were trembling. This is a Norse nerve agent with a coverage range of 500 meters, don't force me. Yi-Ren narrowed his eyes. Then gently let go of his hand. With a snap, Mike fell to the ground like garbage. He clutched his neck and gasped for breath. In his bulging eyes, already full of fear of Yi-Ren. I'm fast, Yi-Ren said suddenly. Just when Linda felt momentarily distracted by this sudden thoughtless remark, Yi-Ren disappeared from the spot. With Superman's speed, he didn't need to do anything else at all. Just need to sprint. Boom. The invisible Linda flew out at a faster speed. Glass windows shattered along the way. There is also the bar of anti-theft bars. Yi-Ren was actually quite surprised. Originally he thought he would smash Linda directly. Unexpectedly, she just flew out. With just that strength and speed, even a tank would be smashed through in an instant. That woman's body is really hard. Yi-Ren lowered his head and picked up the can of spray paint in front of his toes. His gaze returned to Mike. Quote. However, Mike threw something with all his strength, and a lighter hit Yi-Ren. A violent explosion sounded. The lighter turned out to be a small bomb. Flames and shock waves engulfed the entire living room. The coffee tables and chairs flew around in an instant. Tisk. Yi-Ren took the blast head on. His clothes were scorched black and torn in an instant, revealing his strong muscles. When the heat wave subsides, Yi-Ren was unscathed. It's just that the jar in his hand has been broken. The gray-purple smoke spread out in an instant. Pretty smart guy. Yi-Ren frowned, and under the cover of the explosion and poisonous gas, Mike jumped out towards the broken window. His face showed the surprise of the rest of his life. It worked. I escaped. However, a TV remote flew out at supersonic speed and went straight through Mike's heart. A large blood flower bloomed in the air. Mike still maintained a surprised expression on his face, but his body fell stiffly towards the ground. Boom. The car downstairs was smashed, and the siren sounded harshly. Yi-Ren put away his throwing action, frowned and looked at the poisonous gas that filled the air. There are so many innocent people in this building. They shouldn't just die so vaguely. Yi-Ren originally wanted to use high-speed movement to gather the fog. But I didn't expect it to have the opposite effect. At this time Yi-Ren made a bold decision. Breathe. Yi-Ren emptied the air in his lungs, and took a deep breath. Black mist, thick smoke, poisonous gas. All the bad things were sucked into Yi-Ren's body. After doing all this, Yi-Ren felt a little dazzled. But the cells that were dormant at night suddenly became active and quickly cleared the negative state. Hick, this nerve agent is nothing more than Yi Ren, who has a superhuman body. A few minutes later, agents from the Secret Service cordoned off the entire building. The crowd who don't know why are still happily eating melons, but they don't know that they almost all died under the poisonous gas. God, Director Lin, come and see this. The assistant swallowed. Mike's body had been lifted out of the car. The height of these dozens of floors. He didn't fall to pieces after falling. The body of the superhuman is indeed terrifyingly strong. He is a member of the Red Shark organization. We have his information. He is an internationally wanted criminal, codenamed Puppeteer. Forest Bureau frowned solemnly. Confirmed, confirmed. For a while, Bureau Lin and the assistant looked straight into each other's eyes with strange expressions. Puppeteer. If the name is mentioned abroad, many people's faces will change in fright, because his record is outstanding. It is said that there are thousands if not 10,000 men who died in his hands. On the most wanted list of supernatural beings. This guy is all over the top. However, it is such a criminal with supernatural abilities that has caused headaches for countless people. Now he died suddenly in Longguo. The results of the preliminary forensic examination came out. The cause of death was a penetrating chest injury. The heart and a small part of the nearby lungs disappeared completely. What formed the penetrating wound? The Forest Bureau took a look at the appraisal report. He showed a puzzled look. According to the results of the autopsy, the physical fitness of the supernatural puppeteer far exceeds that of ordinary people. It doesn't matter if you crash with a rifle at close range. But, we found traces of plastic inside his chest, and based on ballistics, we found this in the distance. The assistant picked up a small sealed bag, which contained a small fragment of a remote control. Are you kidding me? Bureau Lin was dumbfounded. Although it's hard to believe, Bureau Forest, it was Yi Ren who killed the puppeteer with the remote control of the TV. Quote. Hear this crazy conclusion. Bureau Lin closed his eyes and rubbed his temples vigorously. After a long while, he sighed deeply. Seal it into the file, the second level red seal confidentiality level, and then, go through the formalities for Yi Ren, you know. Yes, Bureau Forest. Yi Ren was holding a bottle of mineral water and playing with his mobile phone nearby. Until the Forest Bureau came over. What's the matter, Forest Bureau? There should be no civilian casualties, right? No, but your temporary residence probably needs to be changed. Yi Ren just shrugged. Fine. The bathtub, anti-theft door, and anti-theft window at home were all broken because of uncontrolled strength. Now just take this opportunity to report the cancellation. That, Yi Ren, the puppeteer, did you kill it? Who? That Nontong. Quote. Yi Ren nodded after seeing the photo on the autopsy report. Really? Forest Bureau patted Yi Ren on the shoulder. Come to the bureau tomorrow. Yi Ren thought he had done something wrong. Unexpectedly, Bureau Lin grinned and said, we will hold a commendation meeting for you internally to get the bonus. Another bonus? How much, Forest Bureau? 200,000. What the hell? Beautiful knife. The puppeteer is an internationally wanted criminal, and his reward is more than 200,000 US dollars, but since it is a special case. In order to protect Yi Ren's identity information. Also because of some other procedures and negotiations with international organizations. In the end, Yi Ren was able to get the full $200,000, which is already a lot of rewards. The special office is very efficient. Yi Ren was moved to a new apartment building in the middle of the night. This is still a well-known wealthy area in Y City. The price of a suite is a figure that many people can't afford for a lifetime of work. The rent is free and the furniture is fully furnished, but you have to pay for water, electricity and internet. Yi Ren was a little excited when he was brought to the new house. How long can I live? The assistant smiled. Throw a small notebook to Yi Ren. Real property rights for special talents. Yes, this house is yours now, that's why I said the rent is free, because there is no rent. Yi Ren's little heart accelerated in spite of himself. Real or fake? The special administration is so generous. For those who practice martial arts like you and make special contributions to the country will never be stingy. Yi Ren stared blankly at the living room. Here, will be your home from now on. Yi Ren swallowed, was about to speak. The assistant of the Forest Bureau suddenly turned serious and gave a military salute to Yi Ren. Comrade Yi Ren, on behalf of the Longguo Special Administration, I thank you for your outstanding contributions to the people. Turn out to be, it wasn't just the puppeteer's body that the special service professionals found. Spray paint cans with North Nerve agent residue were also found at the scene. After some simple speculation, they understood that it was Yi Ren who somehow stopped the spread of the nerve agent. You are a hero, Yi Ren, you saved 472 families in a building. Well, it should be done, it should be done. Yi Ren quickly puffed up his chest and saluted the young pioneers. The red scarf on the chest. It seems to have become more colorful. Please come to the bureau tomorrow to collect bonuses and real estate procedures, and I won't bother you. Good night. Good night, let's go slowly. Yi Ren lay on the sofa, looking at the unfamiliar ceiling. It's like dreaming. It has only been half a month since time travel. But in just half a month, so many things happened. I don't know what the future will become. About myself, about the monitor, squad leader, the girl who has been suppressing herself, a model of cold outside and hot inside. She has many secrets. I hope she will tell herself everything before going to the capital. When Yi Ren came to the special bureau the next day, everyone greeted him warmly. Morning, Xiao Yi. Have you had lunch? Let's order takeaway together. Come on, drink water, there are drinks in the refrigerator, I want to have something. Good guy. Now basically all the operators know Yi Ren. After all, this is a great man who can win the pennant twice and the bonus 3 times in just half a month. Seeing him come to the special service is as kind as coming home. Yi Ren scratched his head and responded one by one. They smiled at each other, and he couldn't make a show of himself. After the special bureau held a small commendation meeting for him internally. Director Lin patted Yi Ren on the shoulder. It means that a big person will come to Y City to do something later, and he will stay for 3 days to a week. I'm going to introduce you to the big guy. City Y Airport was sealed off. After a special type of small plane landed, a group of warriors in military uniform came down from above, under their protection. An old man with white hair but full of energy. He got off the plane with the support of the blue-haired girl beside him. Grandpa, we're here. Hey, Xiao Ran, Grandpa came out of City Y back then, it's really nostalgic, and it's changed so much now. The old man has since signed some confidentiality agreements. And after joining a confidential project, he has been busy outside. Many years have passed. It's hard to come back once. This kind of small city, how can there be a capital? There are no movie cities. There is no big martial arts hall. It is not convenient to go anywhere. The blue-haired girl pouted. If it weren't for worrying about Grandpa's physical condition and safety, she wouldn't waste her precious vacation and accompany her grandpa to such a small city. After all, she does know. Grandpa said he came back to City Y to do some errands, but in fact the bigger reason was that he wanted to spend more time in his hometown. Xiao Ran, Grandpa is fine, I have special warriors to protect me, if you are bored. Oh, I'm here, don't say such things. Inside the airport, the old man met with Forest Bureau and the others. The escort mission was officially handed over. Mr. Chin, hello, I am the director of the Special Bureau of City Y, Lin Ju Crocodile, and I will protect your safety from today on. The old man smiled cheerfully. He shook hands with Forest Bureau. He rolled his eyes. His eyes fell on Yi Ren beside Bureau Lin. Who is this? A smile appeared on Bureau Lin's serious face. Introduce Yi Ren to the old man. Old Mr. Chin, this little comrade is called Yi Ren, and he is the #1 student in my college entrance examination in City Y this year. I am cultivating him. The top scorer in the college entrance examination. Mr. Chin also showed a gratified expression. Heroes come out of youth. The young man looks very energetic. TCH, what's so great about being the #1 scholar in such a small place? Yi Ren hasn't spoken yet. Then I heard the blue-haired girl behind the old man whispering something. Everyone present is a martial artist, and their hearing is far beyond ordinary people. Old Mr. Chin said helplessly. Xiao Ran, what did you say? Apologize to others. Okay, I'm sorry. The blue-haired girl stuck out her tongue, stared at Yi Ren and reluctantly said sorry. She is very pretty. Blue's short hair, blue's eyes. As quiet and deep as the sea. Navel-bearing outfits and hot pants, bare feet and sandals. Full of youthful vigor. In terms of height, she is a little shorter than Ren, and her delicate and cute little face, which doesn't wear makeup, looks like it has been polished. Like an elf. Xiaoran, I have something to say to Director Lin, you and this kid can go and play first. Seems like there's something confidential to talk about. Ran nodded obediently, but didn't even look at Ren. Humming an unknown song, she walked to the side and took out her phone. Quote. Ren touched his nose. Fine, if you don't belong to the same circle, then let's not force it. Anyway, Ren didn't intend to get to know this girl. If the monitor takes off his glasses, that must be much more fragrant than this little sister. Not to mention anything else, just the squad leader's long legs. Tut. Surrounded by volunteers from the Special Bureau and warriors in military uniforms. Mr. Lin and Mr. Chin were discussing on the sidelines. Ren turned his head and looked around. Then I walked to a place where the sun was shining directly, and closed my eyes as a sunflower. Baffling. Although she has been playing with her mobile phone, Ran is always observing everything around her. After all, the only purpose of her coming here is to worry about Grandpa. After seeing Ren's strange behavior, she couldn't help but slander inwardly. On the interface of this girl's mobile phone, there is a group chat, the name of the group chat. Princess Tribe. Jaime, I followed Grandpa to City Y, and just after getting off the plane, I saw an inexplicable guy. Talking about the invasion, he turned on the camera secretly. The moment the shutter is pressed, Ren suddenly turned his head, his sharp eyes were like a sword. Ran was startled. Candidly shoot me. Ren frowned slightly, although he was a little unhappy in his heart. But after all, I don't know her well, so I can't say anything. And the infection widened her beautiful eyes. WTF. It's a shame that I was actually frightened by him. Infestation felt that his heart was beating more than twice as fast as usual. Why? Ren's look just now seemed to be engraved in her mind. The photos were automatically sent to the group. Just locked in the moment Ren looked over. Riding a pig up a tree. Wow, Ran, he is so fierce. Husband. It's true, she doesn't look very old, and her eyes are quite scary. Ren had already turned his head and continued to bask in the sun. But Ran was clutching her chest and didn't recover for a while. She pursed her lips and tapped the keyboard quickly with her fingertips. This guy is really inexplicable. He suddenly attacked me. Husband. Did you find out when you secretly took pictures? Riding a pig up a tree. It's a bit impolite. Ran, I apologize to you. Ran stared. Let me apologize to him. No way. Tisk. A top scorer in the college entrance examination in a small city. What's the deal? But, it's really wrong to secretly take pictures of people. Ran hesitated for a while, then took out a bottle of Arctic Ocean from her bag. She walked over to Ren seemingly reluctantly. Ren also opened his eyes impatiently at this time. This sister. It's a bit annoying. What are you doing here again? Do you drink? Quote. Ren was taken aback. At first he thought this sister was here to bother him. Didn't expect to bring drinks out of kindness. Thank you, I'm not thirsty. Hear this sentence. Ran opened her mouth in a daze. I was actually rejected. You drink, this is only available in the capital, it's delicious, and... A chill suddenly rose from Ran's hands. In the blink of an eye, the body of the glass bottle was covered with a layer of hoarfrost, and a bottle of frozen Arctic Ocean was ready. Ability. Ren was taken aback. This is the power of the blood, drink it and treat it as... I just secretly photographed you and apologized. Ren took over the Arctic Ocean with a strange expression. Well, this girl doesn't seem to be as bad as I imagined. I've never seen this drink before. Ice swish glass jar. It was filled with orange-yellow liquid with small bubbles. Arctic Ocean, this is my first time drinking this. With a bang, Ren pried the bottle cap with his fingertips. Ran's eyes widened slightly. Seeing how easy it is for him to open the lid, I feel that the use of qi is handy. Tons and tons. Delicious. Ren's eyes glowed a little, something like that. Better than Coke. This drink is very good. Is it only sold in the capital? Well, by the way, what's your name? My name is Chin Ran, and I'm going to study at Qinglong Academy. The distance between the two people seems not so far away. Yi Ren is looking at the face of the Arctic Ocean. Chatted casually with her. My surname is Yi, my name is Yi Ren, and I am planning to go to Qinglong Academy. Huh, speaking of which, how much did you score in the college entrance examination? Are you in the 3rd grade? Yi Ren nodded slightly. When he said his 400 points, Chin Ran tilted her neck and opened her small mouth with an expression of disbelief. 400 points. Who gave you the grade? Invigilators. Chin Ran swallowed. The look in Yi Ren's eyes became complicated. Okay, I take back what I said before. You are amazing. You flatter me. Speaking up, Yi Ren always felt cold around him. Chin Ran seemed to be emitting a chill all the time. She is like a humanoid self-propelled air conditioner. Even though it is hot Sha Tian now, she didn't sweat a little. Can you release the air conditioning? Well, our Chin family can basically do it, and it's very convenient to use it to freeze the Arctic Ocean. Speaking of which, the girl showed a very proud expression. Yi Ren hesitated and said, why don't you give it a try? Can you freeze me? Quote. Chin Ran slowly made a question mark. What kind of weird habit is this? I have no other intentions, I just want to experience the power of your blood. However, Chin Ran quickly shook her head. She put on a serious expression. Although we are all warriors of the 3rd stage Yaoguang, stepping into the sky, having the power of the blood and not having the power of the blood, are completely different things. Although you think I might be mocking you, but, you will be injured, and if it is serious, you may even die. Chin Ran didn't talk big. When she first became a 3rd-level warrior, she awakened the power of blood for the first time. Because he couldn't control it, the whole class was sent to the hospital directly. Fortunately, the doctors are strong enough. Snatched her classmates back in the hands of Hades. No matter how much a warrior's body is trained, it will still be a mortal body, no matter how hard the skin and muscles are trained. Visceral organs, blood vessels, and nerves are also weak, and frostbite can be life-threatening. Although Chinran was trying to speak in a serious tone, but Yi Ren still heard the pride and self-satisfaction in her heart. Well, I also have the power of blood. Yi Ren touched his nose. You have it too. Then what is the power of your blood? You'll know as soon as you freeze me. No, what if you go to the hospital or even die? Hey, I'm very strong. Chin Ran rolled her eyes when she heard that. Not happy to say forget it. People don't want to hear it yet. On the other side, the Bureau of Forestry and Mr. Chin seemed to have finished talking. The old man saw his granddaughter and Yi Ren chatting, with a kind smile on his face. A period of stimulating the power of the blood. He is indeed a martial arts prodigy, and it is a good thing for Xiao Ran to be friends with him. Just as old Mr. Chin followed Bureau Lin and the others out of the airport, Yi Ren suddenly turned his head and looked not far away. It was empty. Wait a moment. Yi Ren trotted 2 steps and stopped in front of Mr. Chin. He met everyone's suspicious eyes. The finger points somewhere. There is an invisible one over there, and he is assembling a sniper rifle with his bare hands. This sentence startled everyone. Chin Ran's beautiful eyes widened even more. Where is it? Why didn't I see it? I told you that she will be invisible. No one else can see it. But Yi Ren heard the sound of her heartbeat, and combined with the perspective, saw a human-shaped skeleton. I hope everyone will support it and subscribe more.